Right. Hello to everybody that's joined here or whoever that's here. My name is Subhashri. I'm the Associate Director at IE Universities International Office in Bombay, and I manage the admission activities for India and South Asia. So we're here to understand today choices that go beyond the traditional university choices that students or parents and counselors generally make. So this is your session on Rope to Europe, and we're going to understand university options that are available in the European continent. So, what are the objectives of this session? Yes, we're going to look at opportunities, but we're also going to look at what are the challenges that may come in, and then we're going to look at the different opinions and approaches that you have to choosing a university in Europe, and finally conclude it with the support that's available for you. So, some important things that I will be discussing is why consider an English taught degree in Europe, the options that are available for you, and the challenges that you may face. Now, I know not a lot of you are here, but go ahead, put on chat where was the first university in the world located. If I ever do come across your home city, I will make sure that I give you IU merchandise. But for now, if you could please put it on the chat, that'd be great. Uh, in case you did not get it right, it was Bologna. So Bologna is where the first public university in the world was established. And where is the world's common largest common higher education area in the world? Is it the Americas? Is it Asia, Europe, or is it the Oceania? Again, it's Europe. And how many countries are part of the higher education area in Europe? You have four options here. I'll give you 10 seconds to put it on the chat. Uh, Sean got it right. It's 49. So, like I mentioned, I will be talking about what options you have. So, coming back to that, there are 49 countries in the EU that have followed the Bologna process, which means that they have a set system defined in their educational policies. And which means that when it comes to doing your higher education later, it shouldn't pose any problem. So the Bologna process is kind of like a quality assurance process, and 49 countries have adhered to this. There are ministries of education and international organizations that are involved in this, and they standardize the whole education system into a defined cycle. For example, in India, you do a bachelor degree for 3 or 4 years, and then you go on to do your master's, followed by an MPhil and PhD. Similarly, in the European higher education area, you do the bachelor and then the master, and then go on to do the doctorate. The EHEA also has a strengthened quality assurance process and has a system through which the credits are recognized easily, and it helps you in moving forward with your career. So, why study in Europe? I'm going to give you six really straightforward reasons to consider studying in Europe. And the first one and the most important one is the cultural diversity. Just like India, you find people from the north living in the south, from the south living in the west. Similarly, in the EU, people move very freely and they choose to study their undergrad or masters abroad. Now, and they generally move out of their home country to pursue their studies. So you're going to be studying in a mixed background place, and that is going to increase the level of international exposure that you receive. You have a wider accessibility to the European labor market. For example, you could be studying in, let's say, Spain, but when it comes to jobs, you do not have to limit yourself to applying to jobs in Spain. You can also apply for jobs in, let's say, the Netherlands or Germany, Poland, Luxembourg, wherever you want to. Visa free travel. This is a very realistic scenario. You could be doing breakfast in Madrid, lunch in Paris, and dinner in Amsterdam. So when you go to Europe on a Schengen visa, you can travel to 28 plus countries without applying for any additional visas. You have a transferable, there is the system of transferable European credits, which is the ECTS credit system, which is what I was referring to in the Bologna process, which means that when you do a 3 or 4 year bachelor degree, these credits are transferred to other universities when it comes to you doing a master's program. Finally, European universities are very clearly defined if they are an applied sciences university or they're a research university, and most of these universities follow a practical learning methodology. Finally, there is the European accreditation system that I was talking about, which means that universities ensure they have the highest level of quality and validity in their bachelor degrees. Summing up the advantages of studying in Europe, diversity, career, and the quality I mentioned. But another thing that you should be taking into account is you will be learning an additional foreign language. For example, if you go to France, you learn French. You go to Germany, you learn German, and you go to Netherlands, you learn Dutch. This is a governmental policy where, in order to graduate, you will be required to take certain credits of the language that's spoken in that country, which is what we do at IE as well. We teach our students Spanish for the first 1.5 years, and then students can drop it. So, what options do you have? Remember the number that I said, 49. There are a high number of English taught programs available in Europe. For example, if you're looking at Italy, you have Bocconi. In Spain, you have IE, Esade. In Germany, you have Jacobs. These universities are completely teaching in English, and yes, a couple of them also have their own language programs as well. But more and more universities are opening up programs that are completely taught in English. So, we're going to look at some practical examples with Switzerland, Spain, and the Netherlands. Starting with Switzerland, there are degree programs that are taught in French, Italian, German, and English. These are the four languages which are most widely spoken in Switzerland, in different pockets, though. The tuition fee is the same for any citizen in the public university. It could be anywhere between $1,200 per year, and in the private universities, it could go as high as $30,000 per year. The cost of living is the ballpark figure that we give is $1,500 inclusive of all the expenses. And Switzerland is one of the places where, yes, that's the first destination that comes to your mind when you're talking about Bollywood and vacations and all that. But it is one of the most prominent countries when it comes to research, when it comes to pharma, healthcare, and definitely chocolate. So these universities have a clear definition and distinction. Whether first they're a applied sciences university, when you're looking at applied sciences, you're looking at courses that need specific training, for example, nursing or medicine and etc. And then there are research universities, and these universities are there both that are run by public offices and also private university. There is no centralized application system. You will have to apply to each university's program directly with them. Talking about the Netherlands, Netherlands is one of those countries where English is most widely spoken in Europe, and there are 13 public research universities and about 45 plus applied sciences university, and there are more than 2,000 courses that are fully taught in English, and the tuition is also very minimum as compared to any other universities in the West. The cost of living again in the Netherlands is very attractive, less than almost equal to or less than 900 euros per month. These universities do have a deadline. Again, there are applied sciences and research universities in Netherlands. There is no direct application system, but there's something called StudyLink, which most universities will ask you to put your interest in, and then once you have your interest laid out, universities send you links directly to upload the documents. Spain, that is where IE is located in. So Spain has about 85 Spanish universities, of which around two-thirds are run by the government and the rest are public. Spain is also home to top five of around how many of business schools in the world are there, and they offer both official and non-official degrees. Again, Spain is one of the most economical countries to study and live in, and it is also home to the third largest number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Generally, the duration of studies in Spain is you do bachelor for 4 years, masters for 1 to 1.5 or 2 years, and then this is where you also find the option to combine two different degrees and pursue a proper bachelor degree. For example, universities in Spain do not follow a liberal arts approach, but rather they would combine two degrees. You could be doing business along with, let's say, data science, or law with international relations, and at the end of the day, sorry, at the end of 5 years or 4 years, you get bachelor's in business plus bachelor's in laws. So those are dual degrees for you, and these are also available at the master's level. Spanish universities are known to to offer both a local as well as an international approach to their academic offerings, and we're going to look at the case in point IE here, which is a private university in Spain with 80% of its students coming in from over 130 different countries, and it is ranked pretty solid, top in the world. Number one in Spain, number five in Europe. Business program is number three in the world, and as an international university, we're number 18 this year. Um, in terms of the learning approach, we follow a practical hands-on learning methodology and have a dedicated talent and careers team to guide you with your right fit job, part-time jobs, internships from your first year itself. And most universities in Europe, not just IE, offer you the opportunity to do a semester or a year abroad. And with IE, you have 160 partner universities to choose from, and a student life that is as diverse as its community. We have about 120 plus student run clubs organizing thousands of events each year. So, whatever piques your interest, you'll find a club for it. Now, these are the programs we offer, ranging from business to econ, computer science. We have a law degree that's accredited by the Bar Council of India, and an architectural studies program, which is the fastest track to get a license to practice as an architect anywhere in the world. So when you do the 5 year architecture degree at IE plus 1 year masters, you get the license. So that's 6 years in total, which is about, if you compare it, it's 10 years in the US, about 5 to 6 years in the UK, and about 3 years in India. So, like I said, you do your academic majors, and then you get the license to practice as an architect when you do the IE degree or in Spain. We also offer dual degrees, which is when you can combine two bachelor degrees. If you're a junior or a sophomore, that is, you're in grade 10 or 11, we have summer programs for you. Again, most of the European universities have this option. Summer programs are great way to test waters to see if that specific university would be the right fit for you. Now, again, what's common between European universities is, yes, we have a low tuition compared to anywhere in the West, but these universities also offer really good scholarships to most of its international community. Um, we'll talk about that in some time. But if you're looking at applying to IE, or let's say to Jacobs in Germany or Bocconi in Italy, you could apply through the university's website, or you can also apply through the Common App. Most of the universities that in Europe, they either have their own admissions test, or they are accepting standardized tests such as the SAT, ACT, LNAT. And then every university has its own application system. So, but the common documents that you need across all of them are your essay and two letters of recommendation. Now, I do know for a fact that universities in the European Universities Consortium follow a holistic admissions process. So, if you are looking to study in Europe, make sure that you don't just focus on your academics, but also give importance to your extracurricular activities. Academic requirement, if you're applying to us or any members of the European Universities Consortium, as an IB student, you'd need anywhere between 28 to 30 points if you're doing A levels, AAB or ABB, and if you're doing CBSE, ISC, ICSC, you'd need 70%. Yes, benefits are great, opportunities are available, but here are some of the most commonly asked questions. How widely is English spoken? Pretty widely in most of the cosmopolitan cities. For example, you'll find a lot of people speaking English in cities such as Amsterdam, Madrid, Barcelona, in Zurich, also in Milan. So yes, English is spoken and at the university level as well. So you may be asking, can I do more than one course? Yes, that's absolutely possible. If not, you can always take electives or you can do semester abroad programs. University administration, all of the universities have an admissions office, and you can always reach out to them in terms of asking any questions that you may have with respect to the admissions process, student life, scholarships, and what's life beyond the university. You may be asking, how am I going to stay back? Yes, options in US and Canada may be very attractive. I know I have a 2-year post-study work visa in UK, but what does Spain offer, or Germany offer for that matter? Most of us have a job search visa, which lets you stay back for anywhere between 12 to 18 months once you've graduated. And there are a couple of other options as well. For example, in Spain, you have the internship visa and the professional development program visa, through which the university helps you in extending your stay back for up to 1 year. You have the highly skilled labor visa, where your employer sponsors you, which is quite common post Brexit. And there is the entrepreneurship visa, where you can stay back for anywhere between 2 years, and thereafter it's renewable. That's pretty much covering all the challenges. And now's the time for questions. If you have any, you can put it on the chat. If you want to connect later, here are my details, and that's pretty much it. Ishan?
Thank you very much, Subhashri. Will you be at one of the tables in the lounge? Great. So anybody with any questions can find her there. Thank you for the session. I'll be ending this now so that we can move on to our next one. See you, Subhashri. Thank you.
Thank you.